Ladies and gents, Planet Destiny presents another exotic weapon review. Today we're looking into one of the most interesting weapons that the Destiny arsenal has to offer. This is a pew pew that held a first place position as the most elusive bit of loot in year one. We are of course talking about the iconoclastic, mythoblastic Vex Mythoclast. That's right, the Vex is back and available at current light levels, and one acquires it in precisely the same way as we did in year one. The Mythoclast is awarded as a random drop from defeating Atheon in the heroic or 390 light level versions of the Vault of Glass raid. Time for closer inspection. The Vex drops at a baffling 360 light, but of course is infusible to max light level at 400. Dealing solar damage with a magazine size of 21, we have a rate of fire of 35, a range of 49, stability of 50, reload of 72, and aim assist of 85. Would you believe the Vex is a fusion rifle and has no charge time? It fires a single bolt with each trigger pull and is capable of full auto. We have aggressive ballistics, more predictable recoil, enhanced impact, shorter range, and more recoil. Linear compensator, more predictable recoil, slight boost to range and impact, more recoil yet again. And finally, we have smart drift control, predictable and controllable recoil, penalty to range. But just look at the recoil. It's so real. It's like being a baby in a crib and left on top of a tumble dryer. Pull the trigger and we're pointing to the skies and searching for a sign of extraterrestrial life. It's pretty much the same algorithm that Bungie use for my Crucible matchmaking. SETI, you're out of a job, fam. Anyway, we've got Zen Moment. Causing damage with this weapon increases its stability. Extended mag for a larger magazine. Then we've got Send It. Increases range and accuracy but makes it harder to handle, decreases the carried ammo capacity, and lightweight. When held, this weapon grants +2 character agility. And finally, crowd control. Kills with this weapon grant bonus damage for a short time. So how does the Mythoclast perform? Well, the first thing to cover is that as the Vex is a fusion rifle, it's not part of the hit scan family. It fires projectiles, so unfortunately this means there is some travel time on your shots. With that in mind, we should also cover the fact that this pew pew has been hit hard multiple times with the nerf bat and has suffered several direct and indirect nerfs that have somewhat hindered the enjoyability of using it. However, there is still some fun to be had with this gun, and I found that with the right combination of perks for the circumstance, it's still very possible to enjoy oneself. So let's talk best possible setups and when and why they are useful. Now, we know the vertical and horizontal recoil on this thing is nothing short of a rave. So aside from busting out glow sticks, removing our shirts and tooting on whistles, what can we do to try to tame the kick? First off, I recommend using smart drift control to make any sense of the world when using this weapon. This will offer the least amount of recoil and the maximum stability available. Now, none of the ballistics options help so much with the insane amount of bloom or the spread randomization when shooting, so having the maximum stability that smart drift control offers is a higher priority than the tiny slice of extra impact with aggressive ballistics or the extra range with linear compensator. How about the choices between extended mag, Send It, or lightweight? Well, extended mag offers a strong advantage in PvE. Having the extra few rounds certainly helps with large mobs of creatures and such, but for PvP I would definitely go with Send It for the extra range and boost to the aim assist. Lightweight, unfortunately, is a bit of a redundant perk due to the effective nature of the other two perks on offer. Now, there's no denying that after all these nerfs, the Vex Mythoclast is a shadow of its former self. However, we can at least get close to the glory that once was when there's either a solar burn or the modifier small arms active. Now, if either of these modifiers are present in the weekly strikes, the story missions, the Prisons of Elders, or the Nightfall, for example, using the Vex is actually a reasonable choice for all the funsies. So if you see small arms or a solar burn, then you can happily run to the vault, whip out the Vex and dust it off for a bit of love. Speaking of love, look at this amazing ornament that might be available to you if you spend some money at Eververse. There's the original colour, and then slap on Chrono Shot and I've pissed myself. Anyway, the next item on the menu is taking the Vex for a spin in the Crucible. Now, I religiously used Smart Drift Control and Send It for my chosen perks. I had dabbled with Aggressive Ballistics and Linear Compensator, but again, the added impact from Aggressive Ballistics was just too marginal an increase, as was the extra range from Linear Compensator, as both these perks come at the cost of extra recoil. Now, non-hit scan weapons can suffer much worse handicaps in the Crucible than they can in PvE. The more latency in your lobby, the less enjoyment you will have with the Mythoclast. This is sadly unavoidable. Now, one tip I can offer to maximize the enjoyment when using the Vex in PvP is to experiment with tap and burst firing as opposed to holding down the trigger and dropping that hammer. Tap firing the Vex like a scout rifle or allowing for 3 to 4 round bursts does seem to reduce the bloom and allow for a slightly tighter spread. Give it a go, see how it feels, although I wouldn't let it give you any confidence to take on targets at range. The Vex is highly ineffective at anything beyond medium range, so back off from any longer range engagements and get closer. And not forgetting that hip fire and holding down the trigger are still very effective in close quarter battles. To conclude, the Vex Mythoclast has suffered some pretty hefty nerfs, making it a tough challenge to use in PvP, but nevertheless a decent crowd controller and mob disintegrator in PvE. Now that, ladies and gents, brings us to the end of the video. I'd like to thank my mate Tasmo here for modelling in the cinematic sequences. Such a handsome and cheeky devil he is. I've been Story Machine. If you happen to enjoy the video, then slap the indicator of the upward thumb and maybe check out the link to my own channel in the description box below. Many thanks for watching, folks. Stay tuned for more, and remember, smoke as a kipper, we're always back for breakfast.